When Poliana sent me that message, saying there was someone I needed to meet, I confess I was curious, but not in the mood. Before I could think of an excuse to escape that conversation, Poliana had already created a WhatsApp group and added the person in question. Camila, that was her name. Poliana sent a message to the group that simply said, "Hey, Cammy, Olivia knows Douglas. I think you two have a lot to talk about." But as soon as she mentioned the name of the individual in question, I felt my stomach churn. Douglas. It had to be a joke. The first thing Camila said was,
Douglas? We've been together for a few months. He's amazing, isn't he?
Amazing? Oh, girl, if you only knew the trick that amazing guy played on me. But okay, everyone learns in their own way, right? I took a deep breath and typed, amazing? I think we have different definitions for that word. But tell me, how did you two meet? And that's when Camila started pouring out the whole story of how she and Douglas had met through a mutual friend and instantly connected. It was like listening to my own story, just with a different accent. As she was telling me, I could feel the excitement in every typed word. The racing heart, the butterflies in the stomach, that feeling of having found the right person. Oh, I knew that feeling well. And I knew even better the pain that would come after. But I didn't want to be a buzzkill. After all, who was I to tell Camila that she was being deceived? That the man she was in love with was nothing more than a first-class jerk? No, I needed to be more subtle. So I started to tell my own story with Douglas. The dates, the declarations of love, the plans for the future, the feeling of having been used and discarded. As I was typing, I could feel the change in the tone of Camila's messages. The excitement giving way to doubt, to apprehension. And I knew exactly what she was thinking.
Will it be different with me?
Oh, my dear, I thought that too. We all do. But deep down, deep inside, we know the truth. We know that a leopard doesn't change its spots. And Douglas, well, he was the king of leopards. But I didn't say any of that to Camila. Not at that moment. I knew she needed to find out. For herself. Just like I did. And when that day came, I would be there for her. After all, nothing unites two women more than a jerk in common, right? After that revealing conversation with Camila, I started thinking about how easy it is to delude ourselves when we're in love. The red flags seem invisible, the flaws become charming, and the lies sound like promises of eternal love. Oh, love. That blind son of a bitch. But I knew that Camila's penny hadn't completely dropped yet. She was still in that phase of, it will be different with me, of thinking that Douglas had changed, that she was special. Poor thing. I wanted to be able to tell her that no, she wasn't special. At least not to him. But I knew she needed to find that out for herself. In the days that followed, Camila and I kept talking. She would tell me about her dates with Douglas, about how he was caring and attentive. And I kept quiet. I didn't want to be the annoying friend who keeps throwing the truth in the other's face. But inside, I was rolling my eyes so hard, they almost got stuck. Until one day, Camila sent me a different message. She was confused, said she had seen some things on Douglas's phone that didn't make sense. Some suspicious messages, some strange photos. And that's when I saw my cue. Girl, have you ever stopped to think that you might be being deceived? I asked, trying to sound as casual as possible.
Deceived? No, Douglas wouldn't do that to me. He loves me.
I could feel the doubt in every word. He said the same thing to me. I blurted out, unable to hold back any longer. And that's when the bomb went off. Camila started asking me 1,000 questions, wanting to know every detail of my story with Douglas. And I told her everything, hiding nothing. The lies, the betrayals, the broken promises. It was like reliving it all over again. But this time, I wasn't alone. As I was talking, I could feel Camila's penny dropping. The disappointment, the anger, the feeling of having been made a fool of. I knew that mix of emotions well. And in the end, when I finished telling everything, she could only say one thing.
I can't believe I fell for that scoundrel's sweet talk.
And that's when I knew a new friendship had been born. Because nothing unites two women more than shared hatred for a jerk in common. And at that moment, Camila and I had the same target in our sights. Douglas, the king of jerks. But what were we going to do? Cry over spilled milk? Oh, no. We were going to get revenge. We arranged to meet at a trendy little bar downtown. I arrived first, ordered a beer, and waited for Camila to show up. It didn't take long for her to arrive, with a face of someone who had cried all afternoon. Oh, I knew that face well. It was the same one I had made a few months ago. "So, how are you?" I asked, trying to sound casual.
Like shit? But I want to know everything about you and Douglas. How did you two meet?
I took a sip of my beer and started to tell. It was at a mutual friend's birthday party. Lucas. I was there, minding my own business, when I saw that Mexican soap opera heartthrob smile from across the room. It was Douglas, all full of cheap charm. Camila laughed.
Oh, girl, I know that smile well. It was the same one he used to win me over.
Yeah, it seems his repertoire doesn't change much. I laughed too. Anyway, we started talking and he invited me out. And I, silly me, accepted.
And how were the dates?
Oh, they were always fun and cultural. We would go to the theater, to shows, to the movies. He seemed to be so cultured, so interesting. And the kiss. Oh, the kiss. It was wonderful. The chemistry between us was undeniable.
Oh, yeah, I know exactly how that is. Douglas has a way of making you feel special, unique.
Yeah, but deep down he must have a manual on how to conquer juvenile girls like us. That gentle look, the soft touch, the long and lingering hugs, all calculated to make us fall in love with him.
And we fell for it, didn't we?
Camila gave me a sad smile. Like two little ducks, girl. But you know what's worse? I really thought he was in love with me. That I was different from the others. I was so innocent and had no idea. Camila held my hand across the table.
Hey, don't talk like that. It's not our fault we believed his lies. He's the jerk, not us.
I smiled, grateful for the support.
A toast to our friendship, then.
Camila raised her beer for a toast.
And to the end of jerks like Douglas.
I clinked my bottle against hers, laughing. To the end of jerks! And so, between laughter, tears, and a lot of beer, Camila and I sealed our friendship. A friendship born of shared pain, but one that had everything to become something beautiful. Because in the end, we weren't alone anymore. We had each other. And together, we would overcome any jerk that came our way. Sitting at the bar with a beer in hand and an open heart, I decided to tell Camila how I had fallen in love with Douglas. I was 20 years old when I met him, I began, with a nostalgic smile on my lips. He was so different from all the guys I knew. So affable, gentle, and a big fan of hugs. Camila laughed.
Oh, Douglas's famous hugs, I remember them well.
Yeah, I continued. At that time, I was going through a difficult moment. My father had just moved to another country and I felt fragile, you know? And then there was Douglas, all caring and attentive, making me feel special.
Oh, girl, I know exactly how that is. He has a way of making us feel unique.
Exactly. And I, silly and idealistic as I was, fell right into his sweet talk. I thought I had found my prince charming. I laughed, rolling my eyes at my own naivety. She got more and more curious.
Well, tell me, how did he ask you to be his girlfriend?
Oh, it was super romantic, of course. He took me on a picnic in the park, complete with flowers, wine, and that whole "you're the woman of my life" talk. And I, of course, believed every word. Camila burst out laughing.
Oh my God, that's so him. He did something similar with me, only it was at a fancy restaurant.
Yeah, the script doesn't change much, I joked. But you know what enchanted me even more about Douglas? The fact that he was at a professional crossroads. He was 25 and torn between continuing to work in IT or trying a career in audiovisual.
Really? He never told me that part.
Yeah, to me that sounded so beautiful and noble, A man in pursuit of his dreams, willing to risk everything for art. I thought that was the coolest thing, I confessed, laughing at myself.
Oh, Olivia, we were so innocent, weren't we? So full of dreams and expectations.
Camila reflected with an understanding smile. We really were. And Douglas, with all that misunderstood artist talk, won us over completely. But look where we ended up.
At the bar, laughing at our own romantic misfortune.
Camila raised her beer for another toast. And sealing a friendship that was born from a jerk in common, I added, clinking my bottle against hers. You know, Camila, I began, after taking a long sip of my beer. When I met Douglas, I had very little sexual experience. Actually, almost none. Camila looked at me with understanding.
I can imagine. With his seductive way, it must have been easy to get carried away.
Don't even mention it, I sighed. I learned a lot of things from him, Things I never even imagined existed. And of course, I thought that was true love.
Oh, girl, we always think that, don't we? That incredible sex is synonymous with eternal love.
Exactly. And you know what else made me feel silly? The fact that he always invited me to his house and asked me to bring specific things like wine, risotto rice, mushrooms, and dessert. Camila's eyes widened.
Seriously? He did that with you too?
Yes. And when he didn't ask me to bring things, he asked me to pick him up from work. And I, silly me, did everything. I would have done anything he asked me to. I confessed, feeling my cheeks blush.
My God, Olivia, we're both love-struck idiots. I also did so many things for that scoundrel.
But you know what made me believe even more that he truly loved me? It was when we had a big fight, me and my mom. I was devastated, crying in every corner. And then he showed up at my house with a chocolate.
A chocolate? Like a single chocolate?
Yes, a single chocolate. Not a box of chocolates, a single one. And I felt so welcomed, so loved. I thought he really cared about me. I sighed, feeling a pang of sadness as I remembered that moment.
Oh, Olivia, we cling to every crumb of affection, don't we? Especially when we're fragile.
Exactly. And that was when we had been dating for about 6 months. I was already completely in love, devoted. I would have done anything for him, I admitted, feeling a mixture of shame and revolt.
I know exactly how that is, girl. We annul ourselves, give ourselves body and soul, and in the end, we're discarded as if we were nothing.
But you know what? We're not nothing. Nothing like what they made us believe we were. We're much more than that, Cammy. And then, after 10 months together, out of nowhere, Douglas decided to break up with me. I told Camila, feeling a tightness in my chest as I remembered that moment.
Just like that, out of the blue?
Yes, I was devastated. I couldn't imagine myself without him. I cried so much, begged him not to leave me. It was pathetic, I admitted, ashamed. Camila comforted me with an understanding smile.
Oh, girl, we always humiliate ourselves when we're in love, don't we? I've been through that too.
Exactly. And you know what happened? He felt sorry for me and gave up on breaking up. But then things only got worse.
Wait, what do you mean?
He became even more presumptuous. He had chosen to pursue a career in audiovisual, so he was always saying he had no money for anything. And guess who had to pay for everything? Me, of course. I told her, feeling anger bubbling up inside me.
I can't believe it. He did that to me too. Always playing the poor thing, saying he was investing in his dream and needed help.
And I, silly me, paid for all our outings, dinners, everything. Even the most basic things, like the beer he liked to drink on weekends. It was me who bought it, I confessed, feeling like an idiot. Camila sighed, shaking her head in disbelief.
My God, Olivia. How we let ourselves be exploited in the name of love, right?
Don't even mention it. But you know what was the last straw? When summer came and I went on a trip with my family. He said he was going to travel with his friends to a city near where I would be, and that he would meet me there later. I told her, feeling the hurt from that episode come back in full force.
Let me guess, he didn't show up?
Oh no, he showed up. He showed up 6 days late. And when he arrived, he was all weird, distant. He barely paid attention to me, was always on his phone. And I, idiot, was still happy that he had come to meet me. I laughed, with no humor at all. Camila gave me a heavy sigh.
Oh, girl. We settle for so little when we're blinded by love, don't we?
Exactly. And that's when I started to realize that something was wrong. That the man I had fallen in love with, for whom I had done everything, he didn't exist anymore. If he ever existed at all, I reflected, feeling a mixture of sadness and anger.
I know exactly how you feel, Olivia. It's like we've been deceived, deluded, and the worst part is having to deal with the feeling that we've wasted our time and love on someone who didn't deserve it.
But you know what, Cammy? We can't blame ourselves for having loved, for having believed in someone. The mistake was theirs, not ours, I affirmed, holding her hand firmly. Camila smiled with teary eyes and said,
You're right, Olivia. We can't carry that guilt. We have to move on, learn from our mistakes, and value ourselves more. Because we deserve much more than crumbs of love.
You know, Cammy, even after we officially broke up, Douglas wouldn't let me go for real. I confessed, feeling a mixture of sadness and anger. Camila asked, intrigued.
Wait, what do you mean?
Every time I started to get involved with someone, there he came, rising from the ashes. It was like he had a radar, you know? I explained, rolling my eyes.
Oh my God, Olivia? And you always gave in?
Yes. We ended up hooking up at the end of parties, at the end of the night. Sometimes at his place, sometimes at mine. But never in the company of friends and family, you know? It was always hidden, as if it were something forbidden. I vented, feeling shame consume me. Camilla's eyes widened, looking shocked.
Oh, Olivia, I'm so sorry. How long did this last?
I sighed, feeling the weight of that confession. More than 2 years, Cammy. Almost 3. I know, it's pathetic. Camila murmured, bringing her hand to her mouth.
Oh my God, Olivia, you won't believe it, but that's exactly what's starting to happen. To me and Douglas.
I felt my heart race. Seriously? He's doing the same thing to you? Camila nodded with teary eyes.
Yes, he disappears, but when I start to move on, there he comes, all affectionate, saying he misses me, that he wants to see me.
And you always give in, don't you? I asked, already knowing the answer. Camila lowered her head when she admitted,
Well, yes, I know it's wrong that he's using me, but it's stronger than me, Olivia. It's like I can't resist him.
I held her hand tightly, feeling a wave of empathy wash over me. I know exactly how you feel, Cammy. It's like we're trapped in a vicious cycle, isn't it? He uses us, disappears, comes back whenever he wants. And we're always there, arms open, ready to take him back.
Exactly. It's like he takes advantage of our love to have guaranteed sex, while nothing better comes along.
I felt my heart break when I heard those words. That was exactly how I felt. Used, discarded, as if I were a second-rate option. Cammy, we need to put an end to this, I stated with conviction. You can't allow him to play with your feelings like this anymore. I didn't deserve this, and you certainly don't deserve this either. Camila nodded, wiping a tear that ran down her face.
I know, Olivia, but it's so hard. It's like I'm addicted to him, Even knowing that he's bad for me, I can't break free.
I understand, my friend. I spent years trapped in that same cycle. But you know what made me wake up? It was realizing that I deserved more. That I deserved someone who truly loved me, who wanted to be with me at all times. Not just when it was convenient, I vented, feeling a mixture of pain and determination. But you have to actually act on it. Make your self-love an action, not just beautiful statements and spa days. You know? Camila looked me in the eyes, seeming to absorb every word I said. After hours of venting and laughing at the bar, Camila and I decided that we deserved a night of fun. And then Camila suggested with a mischievous glint in her eyes,
Shall we go to a club?
Let's go, I agreed, excited. Enough crying over Douglas. Tonight is ours. And so we headed to the dance floor, losing ourselves to the sound of the electronic beats. We danced until our feet hurt, laughing and singing as if there were no tomorrow. It was the first time in a long time that I felt so light, so free. When exhaustion finally overcame us, we went to Camila's house. We fell into bed, exhausted but happy. The next day, we woke up with a strong hangover, but nothing that a good breakfast couldn't cure. We decided to invite Poliana to join us. After all, she had been responsible for introducing us. When she arrived, we prepared a beautiful breakfast table with plenty of orange juice and black coffee. Between sips and laughter, we began to reflect on everything we had lived and learned. And then Poliana said,
You know, girls, I think we all learned a valuable lesson from this whole story.
That men are predictable? I joked, drawing laughter from Camila and Poliana.
Well, that too. But what I mean is that we learned to value ourselves more, to not accept crumbs of love, to not allow anyone to play with our feelings.
Camila and I nodded, fully agreeing. We had matured so much in that painful process. Now we looked to the future with different eyes, wiser, more attentive, more demanding. We toasted to our growth, our friendship, and the new possibilities that life had in store for us. The future was still open, but one thing was certain. We were no longer willing to accept just anything. We deserved the best, and we were going to go after it. P.S. A few months later, I just received a message from Camila. She's backpacking through Southeast Asia with her new boyfriend, a really cool guy named Steve. She seems so happy. I can feel the freedom and lightness in her voice, even an ocean away. I smile as I think about how life can take such unexpected turns. Who would have thought that from such a painful experience, such true and transformative friendships would be born? But that's how life is. Full of ups and downs, lessons and new beginnings. And us? Well, we're ready to embrace each new challenge, each new adventure. Because now we know what we're capable of. Now we know what we deserve, and we won't accept anything less than that.
Hey there, Unraveling Ties family. Thank you so much for listening to today's story. I hope it touched your heart, made you think, or even inspired you in some way. We would love to hear your thoughts and feelings about this story. Don't be shy. Leave a comment below and share your perspective with our community. Your voice matters to us. If you enjoyed today's story and want to be a part of our journey as we unravel the complexities of human relationships, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. That way, you'll never miss a new story. We're always eager to explore new angles and dive into the themes that resonate with you the most. So tell us, what kind of stories would you like to see in upcoming episodes? Your input helps us create content that you'll love. And hey, if today's story reminded you of a personal experience or a tale you'd like to share, we're all ears. Feel free to share your own stories in the comments. Who knows, your story might even inspire a future Unraveling Ties episode. Once again, thank you for being a part of the Unraveling Ties family. Your support means the world to us. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Until next time, keep embracing the ties that bind us and never stop exploring the depths of the human heart. See you in the next video.